You don't go into a studio,
legit.
there's nobody there. It's just you at your machine, and this computer is recreating every instrument almost the way it would sound in a real...
Right, and you have to manipulate each instrument to get them to sound more lifelike. In the film industry, there's some scores that are completely electronic. There's others that have a sort of quasi-acoustic sound where you might hire one or two live musicians to go along with an electronic orchestra, and just to give it a more live sound.
Have you ever done that, where you'll go back in and you'll add more layers to the tracks with real musicians, or right now?
Well, sometimes I play in.
Oh, the piano parts are all Mark, and then the piccolo and the flute and all that?
No, I wouldn't say they're all, but at times I've done that. I mean, I've written pieces where I layer my own performances and edit and put it together and sort of make a piece out of it. And other times I just have the piano being played electronically because it's more of a supportive part, which I don't necessarily have to be playing. Or
because of technology. 10 years ago, was this possible? 5 years ago?
Oh yeah, they were doing it. I mean, throughout the '80s, there were all sorts of electronic music.
Creating an orchestra, though, with one computer, that wasn't possible, was it?
Not something that sounded good. You know, I mean, it was always obvious when you had a fake string sound. You know.
But now it's not that synthesized sound. And the stuff that you've made for me so far, I think, is really excellent, because you can't really distinguish between real instruments and the synthetic stuff now.
Well, unless you're really paying attention. I mean, if you're used to listening to, acoustic performances, then you might recognize it. But really, today, so much of the music that's out there is written and performed by computers throughout, television and films and any sort of industrial commercial music.
Because it's cost effective, right?
It's cost effective, yeah. You don't have to have an orchestra come in and play it, and you don't have to have your own symphony. The days of the CBS orchestra are pretty much over. Now it's just you're hiring it out to some guy in a studio.
So you're taking the food out of hardworking musicians' mouths.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I would say that given the amount of classics that are played in today's orchestras, and the reluctance to bring in new music, composers were sort of phased out.
Well, I couldn't be happier to have somebody in my back pocket that I can just, say, listen, you better create some original music for me because I don't have anything, and you do it. Yeah, and I appreciate it. Yeah, and all it costs me is a couple cigars and a few glasses of wine. Well, final thoughts on the cigar. Mine's still going. Yours looks like it's pretty much thrown in the towel. Any final closing thoughts on your cigar?
No, just an overall enjoyable experience. Delightful. A good smoke.
Delightful.
And a nice wine.
Raves Mark. Mine's still going. To wrap up, the flavor is halfway through, picked up. It's been a very complex cigar. It's been much different from the very beginning than it was at the end. That caramelly flavor that Rocky Patel talked about in his description came through towards the middle. And I think as a whole, it's been a very mellow cigar. Even though the flavor's been, even though the strength is definitely there, it's nice to have that contrast, because often the strong cigars are kind of harsh. But tune in next week. We're going to be reviewing the Oliva Nub 460 or 464 Torpedo, Connecticut. We're going to pair it up with a nice glass of beer. So please keep watching. Tell people to watch. Send the link to other people on the internet, and write to me. Let me know how you like the show. Like I said, if you have scathing remarks, make sure they're really awful, and don't put the brakes on. Be as honest and nasty as you can be. I want to thank Mark for my first guest on my first show. Thanks for coming.
Great to be here.
You know what? It wasn't great, but I can say you were definitely here.
I was here.
You were definitely here. And like Woody Allen said, 99% of life is just showing up.
I did show up.
See you next week.